This is Germany, 1989. The flowers were blooming, birds were singing, and I was losing my voice, because I just spent the last 3 hours screaming at people over gunfire.
It's getting pretty dicey here. Do I have your permission to pull back to the trench line?
We are getting cast.
Jesus fucking Christ! I think the cast is hitting us!
But let's roll it back for a second. So why was I in West Germany fighting Soviet troops? Well, it's because I was playing in a massive Arma 3 event, which was a collaboration between a bunch of different milsim units. We had around 80 players representing NATO forces against 4 game masters who were commanding the Russian side. Our job was to evacuate the civilians and stop the Russians' advance. Meanwhile, theirs was to spread the workers' revolution to West Germany. And since it's the Cold War, our gear was garbage, our armor was worse, and only like 2 of us had radios. So yeah, all my orders had to be delivered through good old-fashioned yelling.
Rest of you, follow German! German, grab him, push north!
Oh, and for good measure, we were also locked in a first person. Which made manning up in our M113 a very claustrophobic experience.
Pinwheels in my head! Voices!
Now mission-wise, everything was pretty straightforward. The Soviets have invaded West Germany, and we've got to evacuate civilians from a bunch of towns before the Red Army rolls in. Now, if you're wondering why the USSR is invading in 1989, it's because this op is based on Warno lore.
An outraged U.S. President, Ronald Reagan, initiates a second phase of the so-called New Cold War he devised in the early 80s.
Anyway, I was a squad leader in one of the 3 platoons. That meant I had 7 brave men under my command, and exactly 0 idea of how the op was gonna play out. Here's what the map looked like. Our primary objective was to reach these 2 towns, and evacuate the civilians in them, so our 80 players would be splitting up. The platoon I was in would be heading to the eastern town, while the other 2 platoons went to the western one. So my squad and I piled into the back of our vehicle and headed off with the rest of the convoy. As it turns out though, just getting to the town would be a challenge in of itself.
Hey, seriously, is this safe driving to Baghdad?
Yes, very safe. 50-50.
It turns out the Russian paratroopers had infiltrated our back line and were waiting to ambush us. We had to dismount and clear them out, which, since we had 2 tanks with us, wasn't that hard, but it was a bad sign. We were meant to reach the town and evacuate its civilians before the Russians even entered the region. Their presence here, so deep behind our line, was the first sign this mission would not play out how we thought it would. Anyway, with the contacts cleared, we headed back to our vehicle. We had an interesting run-in with a soldier from another squad first, though.
Hey, be kind to the other squad. Whoa, okay. Somebody's got PTSD.
That interaction aside, soon we were mounted back up and en route to the town. Fortunately, we didn't encounter any other ambushes on our way there. Unfortunately though, the town itself was crawling with Russians. We had to fight our way through, clearing out the invaders.
We got Soviets, front! There's probably more, so push up! Everyone, stick with your battle buddy and keep clearing! We're soft clearing, you don't need to enter every building. Oh! Take this! The hell you mean don't use grenades? That's what urban combat is! I need to bandage my arm. Oh, there's a hostage in there?
The house that was shooting at us surprisingly had a hostage inside of it. The squad leader for our platoon's other infantry squad had been captured, and he was being used as a human shield by the enemy. Did this mean I technically fired a rifle grenade into a friendly? The last Russian in the building tried to rudely interrupt me as I was on the radio, but with him dead, we could now push forward and free our man.
Push forward into the building, stop arguing with the guy who's tied up.
Now, were these wounds he'd suffered partially my fault? Yes, but I'd freed him, and his squad had now showed up, so I called us even and went back to mine. Speaking of my squad, they weren't doing so hot. Our aggressive push had come at the cost of 2 men, who are now in need of desperate medical attention. I was also pissing blood, since I'd been shot quite a few times. I didn't really have time to tree myself though, as Russians to our south kept charging right at us.
Ow, god damn it!
With things quieting down a bit, I sent half my squad to clear out the remaining Russians south, and then went to check on my downed people.
How's Aether doing?
One had died, so he'd now be in for a very long drive back to the front line. The other one was soon back up though, so I grabbed our entire squad and went back on the move.
Squad, we're pushing to our original hold point.
Now you might be wondering, what happened to evacuating the civilians? And at this point, that was completely out of our minds. We were in a fight for survival here, so first, we had to clear out the Russians. Everything else was secondary. Everything else, that is, except personal hygiene. Because after getting shot, exploded, and screamed at, the one thing I needed the most was a clean shave and a fresh start. That's why I'm proud to say this video is sponsored by Manscaped, who are trusted by over 12 million men, and now also one emotionally damaged squad leader. This is their Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, their newest razor. It's got dual blades, one for trimming and one for smoothing. Because why stop at battlefield precision when your grooming can match it? It's waterproof too, so if you're crying in the shower after losing half your squad, it can come with you. It's also got a dual temp LED light, which means no missed spots when shaving, and you can use it as a flashlight in an emergency. So upgrade your kit today. Use my code ORyan for 15% off at manscaped.com. Now let's get back to Germany. To clear out the town more effectively, we've been issued new orders by our platoon lead. While the other squad would clear through this part of the town, my squad and one of our tanks was to push to this bridge and secure it, so we could stop the flow of Russian reinforcements into this side of the town. We double-timed it down the road, tank in tow. Unfortunately for us, the Russians had brought tanks of their own.
Tank, get off the road! Whichever tank is with us, we got tanks down the road!
We cleared the road and our tank fired, destroying the Russians' first tank with a single shot. Their second tank rushed ours though, and fired into it point blank. But it got taken out by our squad's anti-tank. While the crew got to work repairing their tank, we kept pushing.
Keep pushing if you're not wounded! I'll be fine, don't worry about me. Russians across the road!
By the time we'd cleared the road, we were in rough shape. Everyone had been shot at least once. The job wasn't finished though. The Russians were holding the compound next to us.
Contacts east!
We pushed into it to clear them out.
Got him. Keep going, we gotta clear this area out.
Charlie 1 is Charlie 0. Charlie 0.
What the?
Charlie 1 is on. Charlie 1 is on. Surrounded by teams.
Jesus!
Charlie 1 is on.
Charlie 2 and Charlie 3, you guys are all working together.
Screw this, I need a fallback. Ah, shit! Take a nade, asshole! There's another one! Somebody please shoot this man for me! Jesus Christ!
Things had not gone well. I was bleeding out of half my body, and we had 3 soldiers down. We set ourselves up in the courtyard and began doing triage, but just then, a tank had shot high explosive into the courtyard, killing all of us.
Oh no!
But just because we're dead doesn't mean the fight's over. Instead, we all respawned, and now we had to get a ride back to the front line by the logistics team. Since we were in a glorified tin can, some of my guys started going a bit schizo.
Far Cry 5.
Bro, that's the worst Far Cry game.
Alright, Max. So basically the sides of the American Civil War, you've got New England, nobody cares about the Pacific States of America. Now these guys, they're a bunch of... Nobody likes them.
Shut the fuck up, loggers! Shut the fuck up, loggers! Every bit of
Anyway, when we finally got to the town, we got issued new orders. We were to fall back and set up new defensive positions at the town of Kritzenest. So we did. We mounted up, we fell back to that town, we dug some trenches, we waited around, except psych, we got ordered to fall back again, this time to a farm complex. So we manned it up again, we drove to the new defensive positions, and we spent a good long while digging trenches. Luckily, though, we did get to see some combat here.
Contacts east in the forest. Get ready. They're trying to grenade us. Send them back. Tank! There's a tank down the road! AT, get ready! It's getting close. Take the shot, boys! Only one hit! Tank is disabled! Good job! Waste nothing more in it! Keep it up, boys! They're running out of steam! Get on the trenches! Keep up the fire! Oh, there's a guy right there. Hold on. Hey, screw you, buddy.
Would face the worst the Russians could throw at us, and would held. Our tank was also back, and aside from a small incident with a Russian pulling the pin on his grenade,
He just kamikazed us.
everything was looking up. Since things had calmed down a bit, the platoon lead had new orders for us. We were to push forward with the tank to test the enemy's defenses. So we did just that. We mounted up, we drove forward, we got a bit spooked by an enemy Vic, but we still kept going and secured to about here. Since the Russian defenses were pretty lax, the platoon lead wanted to seize the initiative. The entire platoon would push forward and retake Kritsnast. My squad mounted up and then pushed in from the south, dismounting right into combat.
Watch out, boys! Contact! Commie's dead! Is anyone injured? More commies! Push into the building! Kill
We
the
kept pushing, clearing our way through. A tank got in our way, but we countered with one of our own. Before long, we'd cleared all the way to the castle. We sparred with the Russians inside, had a Spetsnaz soldier run up and mag dump us,
Holy shit, that guy was tough.
and accidentally shot one of our own guys, but at least the town was now clear. The Russians were not happy with that, though. High Command told us another attack was on its way and that we had to dig in. The Russian attack was preluded by massive artillery bombardment that we had to hide in the castle from. It's a good thing medieval stone is apparently resistant to high explosive. When it stopped, we all knew what was coming. We rushed back to our new trench line, ready for a fight.
Enemy counterattacks begun! Get back on the line!
The enemy was pretty far away, so I spent a good amount of time just watching my machine gunner engage them. When they got close, though, I got to use my own gun.
Enemy's close! Enemy's close! Other side of the river!
A tank had flanked us and was trying to get eyes on our tank in the town. Luckily, though, we had some anti-tank of our own.
One of you hit it. Nice! Good job! Alright, back on the line! Back on the line!
The platoon lead soon gave the order to fall back, though, as we were being enveloped. I gave the order to my team and we started pulling back, heading to our Vic. Once we manned it up, we retreated for the final time, as the mission drew to a close. Maybe those German civilians we were meant to evacuate were the friends we made along the way. Nah, just kidding. Since we failed, they all got sent to a gulag. A special thank you to my channel members, Midix Lion, Elzak Beg, Scout Trooper, Belmon, Kretus, Mike, Fornicator, Dransky Firefly, Colonel Oddball 27, Doc Omar, Alec Trakler, Taylor Lowe, Brian Bailey, Agent Parrot, The Green Tea, Dill Pickle, Altonio, Corey Dawson, and King Jaeger Blackhand. You all make this possible, so thank you so much for the support. Also a special thank you to Roofy for having created the mission, and to every unit that participated. It was a lot of fun.